All right, Rob, let's get back to the NFL and get back to the draft to some degree. And we saw it's not historic. It's not a big deal at this point anymore. When a black quarterback is drafted number one, we know for up until a few, 15 years or so ago, it was not only you didn't have black quarterbacks drafted number one, you didn't really have many at all in the league. It was still very much against having black quarterbacks. I don't care what they say. It was clearly against black quarterbacks having playing that position. And you had the first three quarterbacks, Bryce Young, of course, C.J. Stroud, Young to Carolina, Stroud to Houston, and then number 4, Anthony Richardson to Indianapolis. And Rob, I did a little quick count, and Rob G, correct me if I'm wrong. I think 14 of the 32 starting quarterbacks this season, and I'm counting Richardson, even if he's not the starter, he's obviously the future. At least he's going to get a shot to be the future in Indianapolis. But 14 of the 32 are African Americans. I don't think I counted Tua, so that would be 15 of the 32 are of color. And you got a major statement you want to make.
Chris, don't fall out of your chair, okay? Be ready for this, because I'm serious. After watching the draft and seeing what's taking place in the NFL, Chris, the white quarterback is becoming extinct in the NFL. And I say that for a lot of reasons. Matter of fact, Will Levis last night, Chris, he should have wore a purple suit because he was Barney, the dinosaur. And that's what's happening. Like, we're watching this before our eyes, okay? The top 3 quarterbacks in the first round, black. We already know, Chris, when you talk about the pay scale on black quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, the highest paid as far as total money. And then the 5 highest paid quarterbacks in guaranteed money. Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Russell Wilson.
Right.
And then next year, the top quarterback prospect, Caleb Williams at USC.
Right.
And Chris, I'm dead serious when I talk about this. This reminds me, and you'll remember this, when Jimmy the Greek Schneider was fired from CBS.
Right.
Part of his conversation and rant about the black athlete,
which
and Chris,
people
he
who
went
don't
back,
remember, they only remember him talking about blacks being bred
right
to be athletes during slavery, or be bigger, stronger, to work in the fields and all that.
But you remember what he said? You know what I'm gonna say, right?
Yeah.
You remember what he said?
Yep.
He said, if black guys keep playing quarterback, there won't be any jobs for us. Am I right or wrong?
You're wrong. You're right and wrong. You're right in that on the field they're thinning out, but that's why they not letting us up in the front office and in the coaching staff.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. But that's part of what he did say about being a quarterback. Here's the other one, Chris. Are you ready? This is a vast wasteland of white quarterbacks taken in the first round in the last 10 drafts. Blake Bortles out of the league. Johnny Manziel out of the league. Carson Wentz, a journeyman. Paxton Lynch, Chris, out of the league. Jared Goff got traded. Mitch Trubisky, a bust. Baker Mayfield, a bust. Sam Darnold, a bust. Josh Rosen, out of the league. Zach Wilson, a bust. Mac Jones, benched last year. And to be determined is a couple guys, Daniel Jones and Kenny Pickett, okay? Now, have there been some hits? Yes, there have. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Herbert. Okay, those are hits. I'm just saying and giving my thing. I'm not going to act like they don't exist. This isn't Moneyball, Chris, where they ignore the players on the A's and talk about, Moneyball and how they used analytics to win and didn't mention the great players. But my point is, this is a stunning turn of events on where we are now in the NFL. And I know that, like you said, there have been black quarterbacks. They've won Super Bowls. This is not the novelty anymore. But the numbers are staggering. Three
Are
of
you
the
really
top,
stunned?
Yeah, I am. I am surprised.
I'm not stunned.
I'm surprised that where the NFL's gone and how many of these other guys haven't panned out and have been bad. Like, when I read this list, it's an incredible list.
Well, I'm not stunned because I've said this going almost not quite, maybe almost a decade back, not quite a decade. I've said that I would say, in about 10 years, half of the starting quarterbacks in the league will be black. Because of, number one, you began to see blacks get the opportunity and obviously shine at the quarterback position. And then when you look at the college landscape, so many of the leading quarterbacks are and were African Americans. And so it was like where the pipeline is becoming more and more black. So I could see this coming, and you want it to be a meritocracy where the best man wins the job, whether he's black, white, whatever. And so you're seeing that, and, this is where it's at right now. Now, you said it, some of the top, not just white quarterbacks surviving. Joe Burrow's probably the second best quarterback in the league behind Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen's probably third best. All right, Trevor Lawrence had a great year and probably will become a star. And Justin Herbert is there too. So it's not like there aren't some great white quarterbacks. And it's not like there haven't been some African-American busts too. Keely Smith, that was going way back. But Dante Culpepper, who had a nice little cup of coffee, right? It was a nice, sweet cup of coffee for a few years. But then Jamarcus Russell, Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace. I mean, obviously that ended very tragically, but he wasn't panning out as a player. Cardale Jones, we talked about him, Ohio State. So it's not just white quarterbacks who are being taken high and being bust. There's some African Americans too. But that's part of progress, Rob, in this country when we've looked at things racially. It is African Americans getting a chance to fail. It's not like, only the super Negroes, the ones who are head and shoulders above everybody else, get to play or get to play that position or coach or whatever. It's just average ones or bad ones by that standard that failed. That's when you know you've reached fairness, when black, white, or Hispanic, whatever color, you get a chance and you succeed or you fail. But you know what's interesting too with this, Rob, is that even as you do obviously see African Americans, playing the quarterback and playing it well, I don't think you mean extinct, like there's not going to be any white quarterbacks, but obviously the numbers are changing. But some other positions, tight end has become a white position for the most part. I have no idea why. Because you think about back in the day, you had Ozzie Newsome and Kellen Winslow.
One of the all-time great tight ends.
Oh, yeah. You had some awesome African-American, Shannon Sharp, our colleague. And now it has become a largely white position where the best tight ends, and most of them, best or not, are white. And you're also seeing, I know it's just one, Christian McCaffrey has become, he's one of the best running backs in the league. He'd have an argument for the best if he could stay healthy. Cooper Kupp, after 2 years ago, some people thought he was the best receiver in the league. He's white. So I think what this is it's just like you see in basketball. It's forcing, white quarterbacks are going to have to be more mobile, a la Josh Allen. Daniel Jones, now he's not great, but he's mobile. And we'll see what he becomes under Brian Dable. But, I think it's going to force them to have to be mobile and be better and step up.
But see, here's the thing. And I think what happens is, this, all these leagues are copycat leagues. And you would think in what the NFL's turned into, which is a passing league, and that was always the thing. When they were passing up the Charlie Wards and all the black quarterbacks who are doing what they're doing now, Chris, who could also run and throw.
Right.
And like they passed those guys up. They wouldn't even draft a Charlie Ward. Go look. He won the Heisman. Played major college football.
Yeah. Tony Dungy has told us he could have been Peyton Manning.
Exactly.
I don't necessarily believe that, but that's what Tony Dungy says.
But that's his call, right?
The game.
And the thing is, Chris, he wasn't even drafted.
Right.
And now we're in a draft where the top three out of four players drafted are black quarterbacks. Like, this is where we are in the NFL. And that's why I'm saying you would think they would be looking for your more traditional quarterback. It's a passing league. You just want a guy.
Well, you got to be mobile.
But it's changed because of defenses and what they can do, right? And you have to be able to move around. That's why I'm saying, like, this was so. And then we saw it in the Super Bowl, of course. First time two black quarterbacks ever faced off against each other. There are all these signs moving one way to me. And that's why I'm saying, after last night, I'm starting to say.
So last night was your eye-opener?
Yeah, it just.
I didn't think last night was a big deal.
No, last night, and then, coupled with the Super Bowl, and then coupled with these contracts and the guys who are being paid now in the NFL. And we know it's all a timing thing, and Joe Burrow's going to get paid soon, and those guys as well.
The top two.
You know what I mean? They're going to get paid too. But I'm just looking at this as you go forward and see, because Caleb Williams,
yeah, USC.
It's probably going to be the first pick next year, Chris. So here comes another guy. I don't know who else is on the horizon, but I just wonder, are white quarterbacks becoming extinct? I think they are. I think that they're going to look at.
How can you say extinct's too strong? Because it's not like Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Justin Herbert are old.
No, becoming as we go forward, because you gave the numbers on how many you said 10 years ago. You thought half of the quarterbacks were going to be black, and you're almost there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, 10 years from now, will it be two-thirds, Chris, like as time goes on? So I don't know. And you talk about the college football, black guys have always played college football, Chris. They just never got drafted in the NFL. There always been black quarterbacks, even at all-white schools.
And they're also throwing
always.
it more, though. Because back in the day, not that there weren't guys that could throw, like you mentioned Charlie Ward and some others. Warren Moon, you didn't get the shot right away. But a lot were running quarterbacks. Now you're getting either a mix, guys that run and pass, or some that are just straight-up passers. C.J. Stroud was a straight-up passer.